Hey everyone, and welcome back to Gearbox. I haven't made a video on this in quite a while. I technically made one the other day, but it was on what I was doing with this engine, and I've done more since. So I just kind of scrapped that, and I'm doing this. So either way, I got kind of burnt out working on other stuff, because doing stuff like this on a schedule like that sucks. YouTube can completely ruin the creative side of you. Don't let it. So I've gone back, as I've mentioned before, I've gone back to doing things how I'm used to. I just kind of do my thing and then record now and then, and just whatever. So either way, I've been working on a rev limiter, a kind of auto start thingy, and then automatic gearboxes, and then automatic kind of range splitter thingies. All I can think of now is, I think it's Dude, Where's My Car? The drive-through where the person just says "and then" over and over, the Chinese woman. It's hilarious. Either way, so first, the engine. I thought it would be kind of cool to have a ignition-based rev limiter. My brain's not working. Instead of just using the max RPM, because if you think about it, every engine has a max RPM. That's when you get valve float, you bend your valves meet your pistons, you bend connecting rods, whatever. So I pictured basically a Kenworth W900 in my mind, and started with what I wanted for an engine in one. And I thought of basically just a really big diesel 2J, of course. So I used the 2x2 2-liter bits. 6 of them, yeah. My brain's not working right now, so I'm just gonna explain things how I can. People that have been watching my videos for quite some time will totally understand. Anyone that has never seen any of my videos before will probably not understand one bit. Either way, so think, I don't know, double, triple the size, 2JZ diesel, so an OM606, but bigger. And then I did the tuning, treating it as such. So for now, it's got a bit of a higher RPM than it would normally have, but you can see this stuff, they're all the same, except the exhaust amount is different on all of them but 2. And then one of them has a higher audio pitch just to change sound. And it's gotten the performance I want so far. I did change the intake manifold for now just to get better performance, but you can picture a proper ITB setup with the turbos. So I'll show that first. So let's turn the switch off. So you unfreeze the thing, it just sits there, doing nothing. We flip the switch, and it starts on its own. The starter's not going anymore. It's sitting at a nice about... It typically sits at 480, but it's a little glitchy this time. And it's just running nicely. If we turn the switch off... Oh yeah, and then the light turns on just to tell you it's running. And then it stops. So if it stalls while you're driving, it'll just turn on again for you. It is so much nicer, especially in R&D like this. So let's turn it back on. Oops. I'm gonna sit down this time. Excuse me. Just like that. Starts up quiet, smooth, it's great. That's supposed to be in neutral. There we go. And then, it is a bit glitchy because, gearbox physics, but there's the ignition limiter. Again, you can see it's set to 3000. I know I'm dragging this video out a bit much. As I already explained, my brain's not working. But it's stopping at about, I think it's either 750 or 850. I can't remember. It's this one, 850. So 2850, it cuts the ignition, making it go back down. Just a very simple rudimentary setup. It's literally, it's a bit of a spaghetti at the moment. I should have left the dyno setup. So it's a comparator, or sorry, yeah, a number comparator that reads the RPM of the crankshaft, and then you set what you want your, I'll say your soft limit to be, because you can adjust it. You can even use a slider or a knob or something to adjust this. I was doing that in testing too. So yeah, your rev limiter, less than or equal, so as long as it's below, you're good. If it goes above, this will turn off. This is just a normal boolean, so if your rev limit is on and then your switch is on, it'll put the output to the ignition, and the ignition will run. And there you go, rev limiter. The auto start is the same thing, basically. So it detects if it's just moving. If it's less than 200, it's not moving, it's not running. If it's over 200, it's running. I should probably raise that a little bit. And then again, the number comparator and the switch go into here. They both go into this one, which just compares them, so that this turns on if the switch and that are on, and then if this and this are and this, yeah, if both of these are on, this will turn on. It's, I do things weird. Things I do can be greatly simplified. Ask Laws. He knows. He simplifies a lot of my stuff. But either way, this then goes to the ignition. Wait. No. This goes to the starter. This one. No. See what I mean? My brain's not working. Which one goes where? If I look at the right ones, that's going to the light. That one's going to the starter. Okay. So this goes to the starter. That's just for the light. I know this is confusing, but yeah. So comparator sees if it's spinning. If it's not, it's on, because it's not less than 200. It's not 200. So comparator's on. This takes the comparator and engine on off. If both the switch and the comparator are on, it hits the starter. Once it goes over the thing, the starter turns off. This thing that makes it confusing is just for the light. If both of these are on, the light is not, because the engine's not running. That's all that does. So hopefully this wasn't too confusing. It is fairly simple. I'll put this on the workshop. I might as well. At least the engine and gearbox and stuff I'll put up. I won't be putting this up until it's just a simple chassis, but still. As for gearbox, the engine I basically just did with a flywheel kind of thing to help smoothen it as it does. And then I just made it like a clutch is stuck onto the back of it like they do. Gearbox. I used clutch gears like I always have, but instead of using the number pad, it's automatic. So as a base, it's really simple. Again, I made it way more complicated than it needs to be. So on the bottom, or base, whatever, it takes the RPM of the output, right there. This is what works best for me at the moment. I've tried using engine RPM and measuring the torque and stuff, and I just haven't gotten it yet. So either way, I take the output RPM of gearbox, transmission, whatever I'll call it. I call it gearbox. And then this one's flipped. So when the system is on, first gear is on because of this one. Once the output hits the set RPM, it turns off this gear, as you can see, and turns on second gear. And then once the second RPM is met, this one disables this gear and enables this gear. And it just kind of keeps going over. I haven't fully tested it, but in theory, it's fully and 100% infinitely, stackable. As long as you can keep doing different ratios, you can just keep going with this thing. You can even double them up, as I have here. This isn't the range splitter thingy I was talking about. I think I might have one over there. The range splitter, I literally just had one set of gears here that were 1-to-1 and then a reduction, and then another set here that were 1-to-1 and reduction, and I just kind of used it intermittently with this to, split them up. And it did work, but not well enough. And then this was just messing around last night, trying to get a signal out of this in some way. Because I'm having an issue, a really big issue, that I always have in this game that completely defeats my, motivation. And that's the physics. So if we go, is it going to go? No, it's not. Because it's slipping somewhere. Usually somewhere in the gearbox. But I don't know where. So I'm going to... Actually, will the weird typical thing work? Sometimes if I drop it, it works. Sometimes if I'm gentle, it works. Sometimes it really doesn't matter. And this is why I'm not any further with this, because I don't understand why it does this. And if it doesn't get up to speed, it doesn't ship because of how I'm measuring the speed. It would be nice. This is why I tried the torque thing. I want to limit the engine by the torque to try and not let things slip. But this is also one of the nice things about the auto start and stop, is I can just keep resetting it and it just starts for me automatically. I just reset, jump in, and go. And it's still slipping somewhere. So I'm going to change how it's handling the torque. Because that does tend to help. But with it being, transport truck, I need it to have torque and lots of gears. That can go there for now. It needs more weight over the front. It's still slipping. Where is it slipping? Because sometimes it works amazingly. And I can just do laps back and forth. I've had this thing up to 120. And it's a 4-speed. I've had it up to 120 as a 10-speed. But sometimes it does this. And I don't understand. And no, I've removed the other test stuff because this was working. But yeah, there will be a video on that too. Oh, here's the splitter thingy. It's just literally a 1-to-1 and a reduction. And then another 1-to-1 and a reduction. This thing's rolling away. It's not supposed to. I don't know what's causing the issue. if I start it in neutral, maybe. I should have mentioned, one of the things that makes this so complicated is if I enable drive, this will allow it to go forwards and through the gears. Reverse goes backwards, of course, which is this gear here with a clutch gear down on the bottom over there. However, if you're in one mode and try to go into the other, it goes into neutral. And you can't do anything. If I go on reverse first, it just goes to neutral. That's why it looks so complicated. Neutral drop? It likes neutral drops. There we go. Maybe I'll just neutral drop it every time. So you'll see it finally shift. I have to turn around in a second. But there we go. That's the issue I'm now trying to fix. Is it stuttering back and forth? Between adjusting torque values and weight and stuff, you can get it to be smoother. But those are variables you can't be constantly adjusting. Those need to be automatically accounted for, and I haven't figured that out either yet. But, yeah. Now that this is finally working, I basically just had the second one set up to shift after this one does. And it worked. I'll see if I can connect it once I get back to the thing. But it surges like that so bad. It's really cool when it doesn't, because it shifts up nice and smooth like that, and then it'll downshift, and you can hear the engine rev up every time. And so maybe I just need to neutral drop every time I launch it. Experimentation with turbo. That goes that way. Yes. I also need to do something about the reverse on this because it just makes it go forwards again if I try and adjust the reverse. Oh, I don't have thingies. So I need to move this back one. Crap. Can't do that. One moment. Should really have a sip of my coffee too. Get this recorded. So I can then record San Andreas, and then I can pull my wheel out and record Beam, and then relax and play American Truck Sims the rest of the day. Stick that in there. Another nice thing about the gearbox is I've tried to make it in a way that is completely like self-sufficient, reliant, whatever. So literally you put a toggle to the input, whatever you want to toggle it, a toggle to this one, sorry, a toggle for drive, a toggle for reverse. If neither toggle is on, it's in neutral. Simple. And then, yeah, whatever. I'm sure you get it. And then the engine is standalone other than, you know, the toggle for it, and then a running light if you want, and so on. I'm trying to make this as modular as I can, separate. But either way, now that those are both in again, I forgot to attach the toggle switch to drive. Sure. This is another reason recording videos is really hard for me, is because my brain goes at like a mile a minute, and slowing it down for a video is a pain in the butt. Neutral drop. Nope. See what I mean? And it's not because of the gearbox. I've tested this enough to know that adding the extra gearbox isn't what's doing it. I don't know what is. Come on. It seems like it is some kind of issue with the gearbox, but even back when I was working on the page all the time, this is what ruined my motivation for working on that. is I couldn't get a working gearbox or transfer case. That thing, I didn't even make the gearbox for, which is why I kind of quit making videos on it, or haven't made a video or whatever. This has, or it should, no, this has the 6-speed that Laws made, and then I've been using this 5-speed, I think it is, by, who is it? Biggie Cheese, I think. It's that. Why don't I just, you know... Yeah, Biggie Cheese. I like that stuff too, but Oz's truck is just nuts. There's the truck I was working on in a series. I should get back to that. But I should get back to that now that I've got this engine stuff working. I'll just put a manual gearbox in it. So that's that. And that's all I can't figure. Oh, there is one more thing. It has automatic 4-wheel drive. Which is super simple. So it's mainly rear wheel drive. And then there's pulleys that go to here. I've just kind of squished everything together for spacing. But there's a pulley that goes over to the front output, as you normally would for a 4-wheel drive, and then a clutch, as you normally would, or could. I normally would do this, or a clutch gear, or just physically move a gear over. Either way, using a clutch. And then a angle sensor on the rear and the front. Compare the two speeds. If they aren't equal, activate the clutch. There you go. Automatic 4-wheel drive. Simple. But other than that, that's kind of where I am with this. I'm stuck. I don't know what else to do, and I don't really want to move on with it. I have trouble moving on with things like this until I have this bit done, so I can build the body properly around it. With the Peach, even that thing. The Peach in that, the T2 I think it is, I forget, wow, it's been so long. They, I've redesigned the flooring in each version so many times, due to moving the engine, changing the engine, blah blah blah. I'll get back to this in a moment. This was meant to be a video on mainly this, but whatever. I might as well just talk about things I've been working on. This I built last night because I can. It's a 2-cylinder where the engine itself spins instead of the rest of it. Because why not? It has a slight rev issue though. I think it just can't handle how much torque it needs. So there's that. I don't know why I did that. I did that before playing Dungeons & Dragons last night, just while I was waiting. This 2-cylinder is waiting for something. It's just a V-twin. Oops. That I just messed up. Again. This is my an old buggy I was working on. Just quickly mention what this is. I need to go through stuff and clean this and rebuild a lot of it. Either way, this thing, it's just an old dune buggy. Started out as electric, put a flat 4 in it, now I'm trying to put this stuff in it. So, it's old stuff, nothing new. No new tech. Just pistons to move the steering. This thing, as you can see, the bed is wiggly. That's why it's special. It's got a wiggly bed. No. What's my engine button? It should be like Alt-E or something. Start engine. Shift-E. It's been so long since I've played this thing. So this is a bed dancer. Oh, that's for the normal suspension, because it's got normal hydraulics, because of course. And then... there we go. It's without number. 'Tis a bed dent. I forget the controls. I built this months ago. No. That way. There we go. And then turn on unlock again, and three-wheel it. Three-wheeling bed dancing mini, not mini truck, but yeah. I do this now and then with vehicles I make just because I like them. This first, it's just a compact 4-cylinder transverse thing. I did that because the clutch wasn't working properly. It works. That's all I've got to say about it, really, is it works. This one's left Alt and E. Alright, so, oh, because Shift is clutch. Or it should be. But yeah, this works. Actually, pretty well. Oh, stop sliding. I need to stiffen this bit. Yeah, this is great, and I love this gearbox. Biggie Cheese. Amazing work on this gearbox. Especially when the clutch decides to work properly. And I don't stall. Oh. There we go. Right. Back to the other stuff, if it'll stop. Torque steering. And I like how even with putting the shifter sideways, because the gearbox is sideways, it still works. I could probably make some kind of linkage to turn the shifter, but I'm not worried about it. I think it's fun having it sideways. Okay. That pole can stay there. I want to go look at the V12. Which has... I think it's a type of auto, all-wheel drive, downforce. I just kind of went weird with this thing. So, yeah. V12. I think that's 12. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. It has electric boost. The 5-speed that's on that thing. All-wheel drive. It has brake regeneration for the electric assist. I think it's like a KRS system or whatever it's called. I don't know. The all-wheel drive clutch or something. Is that the clutch for all? I don't know. Either way, the all-wheel drive comes down here at the back, all the way down the front. It connects to a fan under, or just behind the seats, and then goes to the front where the brake thing is, and then the front diff. And I think that was temporary for steering, which this was in a working state last time I... Okay. Is everything connected? Yes. It just doesn't have steering for some reason. So... what was I doing that I removed the steering? I didn't remove the steering, it's right there. It's just nothing was turned on. There we go, okay. There we go. Okay, so, V12. Got the motor up there that only engages when you hit the button for it. Car just stalled. So, E-boost. Oh, it's in neutral still. Hold on. There we go. This is what the e-boost does. Nothing. It's probably dead. Not quite. Come on. This thing is a little faster than it should be, and the downforce actually works because of the fan. So, I can't see what gear I'm in. Second. So yeah, the downforce actually works. It still has no grip, but it works. It's just getting that, man, that's loud. Getting that into a model and not really seeing it. I'm sure you could change the size with the script mods, but I don't know how to do that stuff, so. Yeah, again, just a test car. Oops. I think I've shown the 6x6 before. It's a Stewart and Stevenson, I think, something or other from the 90s. I have a 1/32 scale RC truck version of it too. Stop stopping. But yeah, I think that's it for this video for now. That thing there, this can just kind of stay. I believe this is like that, but all-wheel drive. Yeah. I was trying to do the same thing, but make it all-wheel drive. And it's just kind of a confusing mess. Testing stuff. That truck. So yeah, that's it for now, I guess. This video's gone long enough. I usually make them half an hour, so. Either way, if you've got any ideas for this, let me know. I'm hoping to upload it to the workshop, but I might work on it a little bit more before I do. So, I don't know. Either way, as usual, if you have any tips, tricks, questions, anything you want me to check out, feel free to leave it in the comments below. And as always, I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.